All right, so me and Jessica first met. I lived in Houston at the time, and she lived up in Cedar Park. That's where she's from, and I'm originally from Houston. So Hurricane Ike was bearing down on, was it 2008? It was bearing down on Houston, and I lived in kind of a lower line house, was kind of over here by Cypress Bible, and I had fears of it flooding, and so I took off in fear of dealing with the hurricane, and had the pleasure of meeting Jessica. She moved down here with me, and then so we did that for a while, and then life just started picking up, and we started growing together.
Some of the highlights from our early relationship was like we used to travel quite a bit. We went to the river walk for my birthday, and we would go to Galveston, and it was just very fun.
I started working for a company, RLK Roof Designs, and he was a good owner, and financially started going good. Jessica was financially doing good, and then we had our first son, Tyler. It seemed like we were on top of the world, man. Remodeling the house, just doing, living the American dream type deal.
Right about the time we had our first son, the responsibilities and just like the fun of our early relationship was kind of becoming, the dynamics were changing, and parenting was there now, and we had an innocent person to take care of. So that fun-loving, traveling, no cares in the world kind of bond in our relationship was stressed.
Again, like I said, everything was going so good, including my drinking and partying lifestyle also. And having a young son to take care of and everything, the responsibilities start getting, increasingly more difficult. And so that balancing act, just wasn't, being a young man and wasn't real good at it. And, I started failing on dad duties and being home and being there for my family, and, just not appropriating my time properly as a father and husband, so.
Drinking and me trying to keep everything in this little bubble and make sure it all stayed together was overwhelming and became very stressful.
We weren't married, so there was that fear of commitment, big from me. So if I went out and partied or something, she'd be worried if I was with another woman or something like that. That trust wasn't there, that insecurity was there. And of course, they just kept growing over time. It wouldn't get any better. I wasn't really doing anything to help it either, so.
I didn't trust him. So everything that I couldn't see, I was criticizing and wanting an explanation or wanting to see proof of it, or wanting him to justify every action that he did. He proposed the first time. And it was the cutest thing. He took me to Galveston, he walked all the way out at the end of the jetty, proposed with his mom's ring, and it was super adorable and cute, and then nothing ever came of it. I would be afraid of what I was gonna do if I didn't have him, so then I would try to control what he was doing in his life. So I would just, if he was gone and I knew he was doing something, I would call him 100 times, or because I was just afraid that he was gonna leave me and then I wasn't gonna have him. I would allow those feelings to just take over, and it would just eat away at me. So then when he would come home, I would just yell and we would fight, and it was very bad.
One of the biggest things was my anger. Of course, when I was drinking, I was real short-fused and real quick to get angry, and a lot of that spilled over to, verbal abuse to Jessica, and just, putting her in a bad place all the time of being hurt, so.
Things got really bad after Hurricane Harvey. With the hurricane, our house got flooded. We had to carry the kids out into the floodwater. All of our stuff was gone. So the stresses of just life in general, on top of the pressure we were already receiving from life before the Hurricane Harvey came, it snowballed from there. Then after that, we came back to town when the house was a little bit more settled, and his drinking was really bad. One night specifically, he came home blacked out drunk, and we ended up having to call the police, and me and the kids went to Austin.
I remodeled and repaired most of the house myself, because again, we didn't have the funds. And so going through that time, I would wake up, start drinking, and fix the house, and it was just a nasty roller coaster ride that basically went in. And I remember I got a DWI when I was younger, and didn't think anything of it, but I remembered that there was AA, it was a place to go get help. And so I did just that. I went and took myself and started getting help, and coming up on 3 years sober now. Thank God that Cypress Bible Church had a program set up for help, and that's how I became really heavily involved with Cypress Bible. Tim and some other group of men came over, saw the condition of me and my family, and felt the obligation to start helping us. It's definitely changed my life between the church and AA. God's become a huge part of my life, and I'm super grateful for it.
I think that things really decided to change when we took our eyes off of each other solely, focusing on God instead of just worrying about if He was going to be there, just trusting that God was going to take care of it, and God was going to mend what needed to be mended between us.
We kept growing closer to God, and inevitably He brought us to where we are. The biggest reason I got married is to have that commitment and that godly commitment of marriage, letting her know I'll always be by her side, and I'm not going to leave her, and then I'm going to do whatever it takes to continue the marriage.
It was no longer just a verbal commitment between each other, but actually having a commitment with God that we were never going to give up on each other or our kids.
So when I feel hurt now, instead of it letting it drag out and get worse, I feel obligated to let her know. I like to get it off my chest. I don't like to hold it in, because I know if we consistently don't tell each other how we really feel, inevitably we'll be right back in the same spot as we were. I wouldn't change anything. I feel like God did everything to make us the people we are today. I wouldn't be able to touch the people and give back the way I'm able to do now if He wouldn't have brought me through all the hurricanes.
Forgiveness is essential to being together and being happier now. Focus on yourself and what you are doing, what you can change in yourself, instead of focusing on changing others around you. Praying to God to help to change those things within your heart and your reaction to stuff, and the rest God will take care of.
I mean, just if you throw anybody struggling with drugs and alcohol, that there's programs out there. You don't have to get in trouble to go to AA. It's not like a place of losers or something. It's a place of great God's saints. The whole program's about God. All drugs and alcohol do is pollute your mind and make you depressed and beat yourself up. So I encourage everybody to seek God's name and do it soberly.
The aspects of his personality in the beginning that I thought were huge issues are just the perfect role that God had pre-planned for us. Those things that used to separate us now have made us so much stronger. He's very supportive of any new adventure that I go on, and I just feel like he's always going to be there.
Love you.
I love you.